Okay, so this is my third attempt trying to film this second video. So just be patient with me. Okay. Alright. Because the first time I filmed it, it somehow deleted itself. So, you know, there's that. Alright. So, we're gonna go over here to our ironing area. And then the second time I was forgetting steps and having to jump around, and it just wasn't good. So I'm restarting again for the sake of ease. We'll go get something to drink, Goof.
I want blue raspberry, but I can't make it by myself.
Where's your cup? Okay. Alrighty. So set your strips aside. You don't need them right now. I know this is a different one than the one we were working on in the first video.
Let me drink some of this stuff.
Right, buddy. There's blue raspberry in your cup right now. Set your strips aside. Alright, so there's two ways to fold these pleats in. I'm going to show you the first way, which I think is how the pattern tells you to do it. And then I'm going to show you the way that I do it. Because the way that I do it is easier for me. So it may be easier for you as well. Alright, there it is. Okay. So there are these triangles on your pattern. You're going to fold those guys and make these little pleats on your paper pattern. See? They're just kind of folded upwards. Okay? Now this may not be how the pattern's telling you to do it, but this is how I interpreted it. So you're going to take it, lay it on your fabric with the pattern side facing down. You're going to fold it bottom over top and make that little teeny tiny pleat. This way, I don't like it. It gives me anxiety. It's harder for me to do. Do you mind? It may be harder for you to do. Alistair,
What?
stop.
I
Life with little boys. Okay. The way that I do it is I take the fabric, I kind of roll it and pinch it with my fingers and form the pleat like that. See? You're going to want to make sure that they line up. It's going to make your life a lot easier if you line this up as you go. Holy moly, dude. Okay. I may cry if I have to film this part of the video again. Okay. So you're going to repeat that. You're going to go down just a little bit. Fold that second pleat in. Now I'm pinning the edges because it makes my life easier. I don't think you have to. I think the pattern tells you to iron in each crease as you do it. I don't like to do that because it doesn't leave any room for error, and I screw up quite a lot. And like I said in my first video, the way that I do it is not, it may not be the proper way, and it may not be how the pattern tells you to do it, but this is how I do it, and hopefully it will help someone. Alright, so you're going to repeat that pleating process one last time. You know whose fault this is. That bitch, Carol Baskins. Okay. That's who deleted my first video. Check the septic tank. Alright. Alright, so this... I'm trying to mash it out flat with my hands so I can double check it. Alright. So it looks pretty even. So you're going to take your measuring tape. You want the mask to be as close to 3 inches on the edge as possible. Okay. Mine is pretty darn close. So that's good enough. Now it doesn't have to be exactly 3 inches, but you know, the pattern calls for it to be exactly 3 inches. None of mine that I've made have been exactly 3 inches. So, you know, it's up to you if you want to make it exact or not. If you want to do everything exact, the measurements are in the pattern. Alright, so you're going to take your iron upwards. Oop. Hang on. This is real uneven, and I need it to be even. Okay, that's a headache right there happening. Okay. I thought it looked okay at first. Okay. Okay. Alright. Take 2. You're gonna iron upwards. Iron those creases in. Now you're going to carefully take your pins out. Because you weren't able to iron where those pins are, it may be loose. You obviously can't iron where the pins are because the tops are plastic. Common sense tells us that you cannot iron over plastic. So now you're going to go over those edges and crease them with the iron as well. And with all of the ironing that we're doing, the more that you go over it, iron out of water? No. Okay, the more that you go over it and the sharper you make the creases, the easier your life is going to be. Alright, so notice now I have these handy dandy pleats. Okay. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay. Alright. So now you're going to fold this part in half with the pattern side facing inwards. You're going to fold it in half hamburger style. Okay? You're not going to iron this crease in, you're just going to kind of lay it out with your hand. That's the easiest way that I've found to do it. Now, on your pattern, there are these diagonal lines. You're going to fold those inwards. On the one that you've already folded, you're going to fold it inwards. Line it up with your mask to the best of your ability. It doesn't have to be perfect. None of mine have been perfect. And you're going to mark that. Mark it pretty darn clear.
Same with me, Mom.
Not right now, buddy.
No, what are you doing?
Okay?
What are you doing?
So I've got these 2 lines. I'm going to come over to... I try not to delete this video again. I'll leave that there. You're going to come over to your sewing machine. Okay. and you're gonna line that up. Now, with this part, there's not a lot of room for error at all. So, take your time. Don't be afraid to line it up as you go. Don't be afraid to go slow. Take your time. Make sure this part is right. There is not a lot of room for error, and it's really gonna suck if, you know, it gets messed up. Alright.
Stop it, I don't want to watch.
Okay. So, here we go. Moment of truth. Alright, so that went really well. The pattern says to go over it twice, so that's what I did. I went one forward, one backwards. And it turned out pretty well. You're going to want to try to sew it on that line as much as possible. As you can see on the back, did a pretty decent-ish job. Okay. You're going to go to the bottom where that second line is. And you're going to repeat that step again. Go slow, take your time. Okay. Alright, that went really well. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Now you're going to cut off those little triangles. You're gonna leave that little bit of room just so your seams don't come out. Alright. Now you're going to go around the edge of your mask. I suggest unfolding it because if you're like me and your seams aren't perfect, it could get messed up if you don't unfold it in this next step. Okay, so for your next step, oh no, this isn't going well. Okay, there we go. Alright, so for your next step, you're going to go around these edges and you're just going to trim it up a little bit. Leave that little bit of room around the seam. Now, if you are a pro and you are, you know, just good at life, I guess, your seam is probably a lot neater than mine, and you probably don't have to unfold your mask to trim these seams. But if you are like me, and highly imperfect, you're gonna have to unfold it just to make sure that you don't trim off any seams. Okay. So far, take 3 is going a lot better than takes 1 and 2. Hey buddy, would you like me to turn on My Little Pony in Mommy and Daddy's room?
No, I just watching these ones.
Okay. Okay.
No, I can watch a different one, this one.
Alright, so all I did was trim up the edges. That's it. Leave that little bit of room for error. And where we made these little triangles, it's going to create the contour on their face to just to help it fit over the face a lot better. That's part of the reason I like this pattern is because it fits so darn well there's a lot of space for customization. Alright. I'm also not used to doing this from memory, so please be patient with me. Okay, so you're going to take one of your cut strips of fabric, the one that we had to cut in half in the first video. You're going to line that bad mamma jamma up with the edge of your mask. I'm not going to pin that. We're not doing that. There's no need. Okay. You're going to line it up with the edge. See? With the pattern side down. And pattern side of this down. You're going to line the left edge up with the edge of the mask. Okay? And then you're going to come over here to your sewing machine. Now for this step, your mask is unfolded. Not the pleats. We don't unfold the pleats at all, ever. But it's not folded in half hamburger style anymore. Okay. Alright. Okay. Sorry, thread is caught around the foot and I don't want it to, you know, spaz out. Oh, okay. There we go. Alright. And it's still spazzing. Okay.
How put a thing back? No way.
Okay. So what you end up with is just this. Okay? See? Bloop. You're going to repeat that step on the other side. And I don't know if I said it in the last video, but when you're sewing, no, I didn't say it in the last video because we just put these pleats in. Okay, when you're sewing with these pleats, it's going to make your life a lot easier if you face the fold of the pleats towards you. So you're not fighting against it. Okay. This is going well so far. Okay, so now we're gonna go over here to the ironing part. Okay. Right, now that you've got these in there, you're gonna take it and you're gonna fold it. This is the pattern side of the mask, but this is gonna be the front side of the mask. This is the part that we've been working with, which is the back. So see? This is where we folded those strips on, or sewed those strips on. You're gonna fold it like this. Now, what I've been doing to make my life easier is I lay it down on my ironing surface and, where is it? Okay. And pin down those folds. Now, I'm not pinning it on the mask, I'm pinning it on the straps. There is a pin somewhere on here. Okay. And hang on, I'll bring my phone over to try to show you what I mean. Now, don't worry about this part right here. This is your main concern, which is where the mask is at. So I folded mine down for a good bit and pinned it down. Then I'm going to take my iron and iron in that crease. Okay. Alright, and then you're going to repeat that for the other side. Hey, bud, can you play that on the couch, please? Or in Mommy and Daddy's room? Please?
I don't want to.
Okay, well, I need you to either turn it down a whole bunch, or go sit on the couch, or play in Mommy and Daddy's room. Okay. So we're doing this on the other side. And we're just gonna repeat the exact same thing. Remember what we said, the more you iron in the creases, the easier your life is going to be. Hang on, my husband is blowing me up. Oh, okay, well it's not even super important. Okay, it can wait. Alright, so pick those pins up. So what you're left with right now is this. You're going to lay it down. Cool. This is going really well. You're going to fold this part of the strip. You're going to fold it. Lay it down on your surface. And pin it as well.
What did you do?
Now, if you have a fabric table, an ironing board, any fancy stuff like that, great, use it. I don't, so I put a blanket down over my carpet, and then I put a towel over a portion of my blanket so that I could iron, so I had space to iron. I have a small apartment. I do not have space for an ironing board and a fabric table and all that jazz, so working with what we got here, guys. Alright, so where you made that fold, you're going to iron in that crease. Okay. Okay. So what you're left with is this. Right? You're going to go over to the other side, do the exact same thing. Okay. Okay. Take your pins out. Okay. So now you're going to take this part. Maybe easier to see right here because this one looks a little better. And you're just going to fold it down. See? Lay it down on your ironing surface. I'm choosing to do mine with the pattern side up. I don't know that you can do it with the pattern side down. Okay, see what I did? Now I'm gonna take my iron. And iron in that crease. I really hope that showed up. I'm noticing that my video is getting dark really easy, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to fix that. Like I said, I don't do YouTube videos. I'll watch them. I do not film them. I do not make them. Okay. So you're going to go to the other side. Do the exact same thing. Okay. Okay. Alright. So what you're left with is this. And that is super dark. But I will show you again when we get over to the sewing machine where it's not so dark. Oh man. Okay. Alright. So, just to show you again, all I did was fold this edge down, iron that crease in, fold it down again, iron that crease in. And I only am really concerned about the part that's close to the mask, the part that's on the mask. Alright? These edges right here are not important. They're gonna get cut off here in a minute anyway. Okay? So just make sure you did what I showed you. Fold it, iron in the crease, fold it again, iron in that crease. Okay? Alright. So you're going to come over here to your handy dandy sewing machine, hopefully not possessed. And you're going to start sewing the strip a little bit above where the mask starts, just for the sake of making sure that it is completely sewn along the edge of the mask. Okay? Because we don't want there to be a hole in the seam. We want our healthcare providers to be as protected as possible. Alright. Alistair. Okay. After you sew that in, see, boop, you're going to trim it. Okay. So what you're left with is this. See that nice pretty straight line? You're going to flip it over. You're going to go put it back on your sewing machine. And you're going to do the exact same thing. Now do not be afraid to double check, triple check, and line back up before you start sewing. Okay. Yeah, see, it's being a little bit of a bastard. Okay. Alright. Now with this one, the back seam kind of jumbled up because my sewing machine is absolutely possessed. So you can see where it kind of got formed a little bit, but it's going to be okay. Alright. So we trimmed off that excess. Went in the trash. That doesn't look so bad. It'll be okay. Alright, so this is what we're at right now. Okay? Now I'm going to grab the other one. Yeah, I'm going to grab the other one that we were working on in the first video, because it is also to this point. I'm going to show you what we're doing now that we're all caught up 30 minutes later. And I'll finish this one after this video. Okay. Alright. So, all you have left now is your 2 long strips that we sewed those diagonal pieces, and then you're left with this part that we've been working with. So what you're going to do is take one of your pieces that we sewed the diagonal line in. You're going to find that diagonal line, try to get to you know, the middle-ish. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to want to line it up with the middle-ish of your mask. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. If you're a perfectionist, I'm really sorry, you're about to have a tough time. Alright, so you're going to line it up just like we did with these edges right here. Now I'm choosing to pin mine. If you're a magician, you may be able to go without pinning. I am not. If you're a magician, put some cool videos on YouTube for us all to watch while we're in quarantine. Okay. Oh. Okay. Now this part's a little tricky because it has that that middle part right there. You'll see what I mean. Okay. But you're just gonna have to try to do your best and work with it. Okay. Alright, so all I did was pin those edges. And you can see how on the front of the mask it's lined up. Okay? I'm gonna flip it. Ooh, there's some thread hanging off of this fabric. Alright, you're gonna flip it. Do the exact same thing to the other side. Find the middle-ish point of your diagonal line. Line it up. Edge to edge. Okay. All right. Okay, so now that we've got those pinned, we are going to go right here to our sewing machine, and we're going to sew those edges. We're going to start sewing about right here-ish. You're going to want to leave just as little space as you can without compromising the integrity of the seam. Because we're going to do the exact same thing with these that we did with these edges. Okay? So you really only need to sew the part that's on the mask. Alright. I'm going to take this pin out while I sew it so it's not in my way. Okay. Line it up as you go. Hold it as you go. You're going to have a much better time if you're not afraid to adjust yourself as you go. Alright. Please don't. Can we not do this? Give me just a second. I don't want my sewing machine to spaz out right in the middle of this long seam. Okay. Go slow if you have to. Now, I'm about towards the middle part, and I'm adjusting as I go, because that middle part needs to be adjusted as you go, because it's not straight. So just kind of hold it tight as you go. Okay. Okay, that went okay. Alright. So we're going to take it off the sewing machine. Bloop. And now you're left with that edge sewn together. Okay? You're going to go to the bottom or the top, depending on which part you started at. And you're going to do the exact same thing, friends. Okay. Alright. I don't know if I said it in my last video, but I am going to try to find a no-sew pattern, a child's mask pattern, and a pattern for a mask with a filter pocket in it. And I'm going to try to get those under my hands and try to also film tutorials for those. I want everybody that has the ability to make masks to do so and donate them to your local hospitals. Do not sell them. Don't be a dirtbag. Okay. So we're going to do the exact same thing. Adjust as you go. Check it as you go. Okay, that went okay. Oh, whew. Okay. What are you doing, Stab? Trim it up. All right. Okay. Alright. So now that we've done that, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the binding, with the edge of the binding right here, with these. Okay? So we're going to fold them up. I'm going to take you over to my ironing station. Make life easier. Okay. This video may end up being 3 parts, which sucks. Okay. Alright. So we're going to fold it up, just like we did with the other one, so that the pattern side is facing up. The difference with this part is we have to fold the entire strip, not just a little bit of it, not just what's on the mask, okay? We have to fold the entire darn thing, okay? Alright, so that's what we're going to do right quick. We're going to fold this and put pins in it every so often. make your life easier, make my life easier. Life is hard enough, right? Okay. Oh my goodness, it's 9 o'clock. Oh. Okay. And I will, I'll pan over this to show you exactly what I mean. In just a second. Let me get this pen down first. Now, you don't have to pin this down, I don't think. But I haven't found another way to do it that doesn't make me want to pull my hair out. And like I said, the way that I'm doing this tutorial may not be the exact way the pattern calls for. There may be someone more experienced that can show you a different way. I'm just showing you the way that I do it. And the way that works for me. Hopefully it will also work for you as well. Okay, so I got that pinned, and I'm going to show you in just a second as soon as I do this other side too. We're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. We're going to fold it, just that little lip, and pin it. Now, putting pins in the strips isn't that big a deal. It's the mask part that we want to avoid putting pins in. So don't be afraid to pin it up. Ha ha ha. Okay. 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 Let's go over here. We're making good progress, guys. Everybody's doing great. Alright, I know I said it in my last video. I'm going to say it again. If you haven't done any self-care today, stop and do it. It's very important to take care of your mental health right now. I can't stress enough how important it is. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Okay. So what I did is I just pinned down that fold. That was it. Okay? Now, we're going to do the ironing. We're going to iron in those creases. What you need, Bug?
I have another poopy again.
Okay, hang on.
I get no diaper?
Yes, you can. You need wipes?
Yeah. Eden, look, I'm playing baby boss. I'm playing baby boss. I'm watching. I'm playing baby boss. Look. I'm baby boss now.
Okay. Now, let me show you what I'm doing right here. Right here, I'm kind of pulling at it to make sure that the seam gives me as much room as possible before I iron it down. And that's just because of where that fold is. I want it to give me as much space as possible. Now that's not really as necessary on the bottom because the peak isn't as prominent. Okay, so just like with the other ones, we weren't able to iron where our pins are, so we're going to take our pins out. You know, this video is going to be, or this tutorial is going to be 3 videos long. I was trying to do 2 videos since it's only letting me do an hour a video. Guys, come on. Can you guys go play in Sissy's room, please? We're going to carefully take those pins out. Okay. And we're going to go back over those creases. Okay. Don't be afraid to adjust and check and double check as you go. All right. So this is what we're left with. Okay. All right. Now, just like with the binding on the sides, we're going to flip it over to where the pattern side of the mask is facing up. We're going to lay it all out flat. And then we're going to fold the other edge in and pin it as well. And I'll show you what I'm doing in just a second. Okay. Alright. I'm just doing the exact same thing that we did on the binding, the side binding. And I'm doing it here. That's it. These masks aren't super hard to make. They're not very technical. They are time consuming. And they are a little bit tedious. But this is the best one that I have found. Okay. All right. Then you're going to go on the other strip and do the exact same thing. Fold it up and pin it down. Okay. Are you clean, Sissy? Okay. Okay, good job, buddy. Alright. So all I did was fold this part over.
Find me some Freddy's Legos.
Okay, buddy. And pin it down. That's all I did. Okay. Now we'll probably have to stop this video and after we do this part and do part 3 on a new video. So what you're gonna do, carefully iron in those creases.
This mommy is so big.
Okay, buddy.
I have to get
All right. That's all we're doing is ironing down those creases.
Bernie.
Okay, honey, go play, please. Thank you. Okay, that's all we're doing is ironing in those creases.
I got the ball. go to your room, bud. Okay. What's it goes? Oh, look at those. Mommy, look at the scout.
Hey, buddy. Can you go play in your room, please?
Stay over in my room.
Hey, guys, please go play in Sissy's room.
No.
No, it's very loud. Okay, please go play it in Sissy's room for right now. After I'm done, you can come play in here. Yes, baby. You don't have to ask for a snack. Alright, so carefully take your pins out. Because like with every other one we've done where we had to pin something down, you cannot iron over pins. So we're going to take those carefully out. And then we're going to go back over it with the iron and make sure that those creases are nice and tight.
Talk to me.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to the room.
All right. Thank you, Sissy. You're doing a great job. Woo. Notice, well, you can't notice because it's not on camera. Okay. Let me, when you're ironing these, do not iron over your mask. You might mess up the pleats, and you don't want to do that. It will make life difficult. Just don't iron over your mask. Just iron the strips. Okay? Alright, so this is what we're left with. I'm going to end this video with showing you how to do this part. You're going to do exactly like you did with the binding and fold it in half. That's it. And you're going to pin it because we're going to do the exact same thing that we've been doing. We're going to iron in those creases. So just fold in half. We're getting close, guys. We're almost done, I promise. This next video won't be very long at all. Okay. And again, we're wanting to try to avoid pinning on the mask itself. And I'll show you what I did in just a second by panning over it. Okay. This fabric pattern reminds me of something my great-grandmother would have liked. I think it's really pretty. And all I'm doing is folding it in half. That's it. I'm folding it in half hot dog style, or yeah, hot dog style. And pinning it down at random intervals. And that's all. Okay. here. Alright, looks like I've got a couple minutes left of this video. So I think we're doing good so far. Okay, and just like we've been doing, we're going to iron in those creases. That's it. You're going to go all along. Again, try not to iron on your mask. Just iron the edges. Okay. Okay. Oop. I'm having a technical difficulties here. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Go up here. Iron these creases in. Iron it in. Iron it in. Alright, and this video is about to time out. So, just like we've done with every other one, you're going to take the pins out carefully. Trying to do this before this video times out.
Mommy, Bobby's going to see that check with me.
Yeah. And then we're just going to go back over those creases one more time. Oh, shoot. Heckin' dang it. Okay. That's what I get for being in a hurry. Alright. And just go back over those creases one more time to make sure that they're good and tight. Okay, so this is what you're left with, and this is what we will start the next video with. I'm just going to pick it up and move over to my sewing station. That's all. Okay?